I've never lost anything. I've learned from everything I've done. Will I make smarter decisions because of the dumb decisions I made? Yes. Will I take smarter risks because of the dumb risks I've made? Yes. But I had to take those risks in order to learn what to do and what not to do. One of the biggest things I struggle with is time. I want everything on my timeline. I want what I want yesterday. And when something doesn't go the way I want it to go, and it takes a long time for the way I want it to go happens, it's frustrating, right? I remember sitting at church one day in Sunday school, and there was something up on the whiteboard that said, trust in God's timing. And my husband would like nudge me. He's like, hey, what does that say on the whiteboard? And I said, trust in God's timing. He's like, wait, what was it again? I'm like, shut up. It's the time thing that I struggle with. I will do everything on my power, but I want it now. I want the results now. And as we're building practices and we're building our dream life and our dream business, it's never on our timeline. And I want to share with you a simple story. It's a sports story. And it's one of my favorite sports stories. And I had to do some research before I recorded this to make sure I wasn't lying to you guys and getting the truth to you. Now, this is a baseball story. I'm a big Atlanta Braves fan. I've always loved the Braves ever since Chipper Jones was on their team. But I'm not like one of those diligent watch baseball people. It's just I'm going to pay close attention to it when playoffs arise or like the week before the playoffs. And I pray that this upcoming 2024 season, they change the playoffs up, because I swear my Braves were the number one team in the entire league this year. And because of that stupid week that they got off, it threw them out of their groove. They lost in the first round of the playoffs. So it was like, sucks. So they need to change the shift of the playoffs. Anyways, one day I hope that we have a baseball team in Salt Lake. But one of my favorite things I did while I was going to school in Portland was that we would go up to, for like a weekend getaway, we'd go up to Seattle and we'd watch some baseball games. I've never been to an Atlanta Braves game yet. I will at some point. I looked at going this past summer, and it was just like I just couldn't ever figure out the right time. And, being pregnant, I just didn't. One day I will, and I will love it when I am. But this is about a Atlanta Braves baseball player. His name is Kyle Wright. Kyle Wright was the number 5 overall pick in the 2017 draft. Barely more than a year later, he was a major leaguer, striking out Jackie Bradley Jr. for his first career strikeout in the major leagues. The next year, he made the Braves' opening day rotation at the age of 23. It seemed like the path to stardom was clear. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. The next 3 starts Kyle Wright made were very ineffective. In fact, his ERA was 7.07. What does that mean if you're not familiar with baseball? It means that while he was pitching, ERA stands for earned run average. 7 runs were scored while he was pitching. That is not good. You want to be down like in the 1s and the 2s. In 2019, he got demoted. Okay, so he gets drafted in 2017. He's thinking, yes, my dreams are coming true. I'm now I'm drafted to the major leagues. And then the very next year, at the young age of 23, he gets put into the major league rotation in the Atlanta Braves bullpen. Struggles hardcore. Then in 2020, he had 8 more inconsistent starts with an average ERA of 5.2. So again, while he was pitching in the game, his earned run average per game was 5 runs. That's not good. He was barely in the picture at all, spending nearly the entire regular season in the minors in 2021. So just think about this. He gets drafted, thinking his dreams are going to come true, gets into the major leagues, and it all goes to crap. His game struggles. And then can you imagine going into that office? I'm sure this happens to professional leaguers all the time. We just don't even see it. How strong mentally they have to be to walk into their manager's office knowing that their Major League Baseball days are not going to be around anymore. They don't know if they'll ever get a chance again to come back into the major leagues. So he gets sent down to the minors, which in 2 short starts, he allowed 7 runs. So again, his ERA in the minors was 6.5. Really not good, especially in the minors. So in baseball league, there's 3 levels of minors. You have single A, double A, triple A, and triple A goes back and forth between triple A and major league. Like that's like the one step right before the major league baseball. So he gets sent down the minors in the major leagues. And the Braves could have lost track of them. They were growing other people like Max Fried, who still pitches for them, and other pitchers. Anyways, 3 starts in the 2022 season, his 5th in the majors. Kyle Wright was battling for a back-end rotation amongst all of the pitching spots. In those 3 starts in 2022, he had a 1.0 ERA. He struck out 26 of the 66 batters he's faced. That's nearly 40%, and walked just 2. Okay, that is incredible. So that's 2022. What happened at the end of 2021? Because he was stuck in the minors in 2021. Well, let me tell you what happened. Brian Snitker, who is the manager of the Braves, decides that he's going to put Kyle Wright on the World Series roster. The World Series is the final games of the season. It is the last 2 teams standing. You win the World Series, you win it all. Kyle Wright had barely made any appearances in the major league level. In fact, he had made 2 appearances that year. That's it, 2 in the entire season. It's like 152 games a year. Like, this is no small season. But Ryan Snitker found the confidence to put him on the World Series roster in 2021. In game 2 of the World Series, he comes in for, if I remember right, like an inning. Game 3, he doesn't show up. Game 4, their opening pitcher, the Atlanta Braves opening pitcher, really struggled. So they put Kyle Wright in the first inning, bases loaded or something like that. Something crazy. He threw 4 2/3 innings, meaning he threw 4 innings plus another inning that was 2 outs out of the 3, and it contributed tremendously to the 3-2 victory. His coach contributed to the win to his specific appearance. You get the phone call that says you are on the World Series roster after having your hopes and your dreams right there in front of you to be taken away from you. Get sent down to the minor leagues for 2-3 years, struggle there, find your niche, find your mojo again, and then your manager of the major league calls you up and says, hey, you're going to be put on the World Series roster. Come and join the team. So he goes and joins the team. Then in a very sticky situation, in the first inning of Game 4, in which the Atlanta Braves won in a 5-game series, well, in 5 games, it's a 7-game series, he gets his name called. Just think about what's going through his mind and how your mind will make or break you in this moment. He could have gone in. I mean, can you imagine how fast his heart was beating? He's finally getting his moment on the biggest stage in baseball. Underneath the most incredible terms when the bases are loaded. If you mess up one pitch, I mean, that could be that one pitch could cost you 4 runs. But he killed it. He nailed it. That 2021 opportunity that he took and performed at his best set him up for a killer 2022, where then his ERA dropped to 1, which is pretty incredible, no matter who the pitcher is. So I would tell you that story to remind you that business is like sports. I mean, I'm a sports girl. I'm a business girl too, apparently now. I didn't have intentions to become a business girl, but I definitely am. That things don't happen on our timeline. But They happen for a reason. I mean, if you go into MLB.com as I was searching for the facts around this, Brian Snedeker says that him being in the minors that time was the best thing for him because he found his mojo back and he found who he was as a pitcher. This is what it says in the article, word for word. Quote, the best thing was for him to stay in AAA all year, amass innings and pitch and be successful. The greatest thing these guys can have is experience. I don't care where it is, especially as a pitcher. I think we asked a lot of him in his young career, and I love the fact he got to stay down there all year and put together a really good year. For me, tonight, I saw that. It was a more mature pitcher than he'd experienced before. And that was coming from his manager. However, Wright was like, yeah, it sucks being down there, but I completely agree. I kind of hit the reset button a little bit. I was struggling a lot this year and was kind of honestly a little lost. And we went back and forth watching a bunch of old video to see where I was when I was pitching well. I basically found where I needed to be and worked pretty strict on those mechanical changes. I feel like it's put me in a much better position now to be more consistent. I feel like my stuff's been better and everything has all around me been better as well. So, next time you think you're stuck in your groove, just remember Kyle Wright and how he had his dreams just sitting right there on the table in front of him, only to get removed from the table. And then one more chance in the biggest game on the biggest stage. He went in, did his job right because of what he had learned in the dumps. 2022 was his breakout year, and I'm not really sure what he did in 2023 because I kind of lost track of him and I didn't pay much attention to the sports world until playoff season. It's like one of the things that my dad and I talk about. He'll be like, hey, the Braves are this, like Braves are killing it this year, or I'll just watch like the 2-minute highlight reel or something because that's what I have time for. But it's fun to see those stories of people who we can resonate with. Like maybe you got some sales right in and you were doing really good in your business at the beginning, and then you hit a slump and now you're like trying to figure out your way out of that slump. Well, there's a reason why that slump is occurring, and you can learn so much from it. How many business owners have you heard say, you know what, I earned a lot of money and I've lost a lot of money. A lot of different times. I've heard it a lot. I've done it. We can get up to that point, then we can lose it all in like the blink of an eye. Now, I should have fixed the word loss. I've never lost anything. I've learned from everything I've done. Will I make smarter decisions because of the dumb decisions I made? Yes. Will I take smarter risks because of the dumb risks I've made? Yes. But I had to take those risks in order to learn what to do and what not to do. And because of all that I've learned, look where I am today and look where I'm going to go in the future. I'm going to make so much smarter decisions in the future because of the dumb decisions I made regarding business and what to do and what not to do, and websites and webinars and marketing and programs and paying people and all the things. Like, it's crazy. If I were to probably go back and add it all up, it's over $500,000 for sure. But because of all that, now it's like money comes to me easily. I've got my sales processes down. They're locked in and to where, we're creating a program and I love the program and it's something that I think will do really well. I'm going to run with it. If it doesn't do really well, okay, pivot. That's great. But when things don't happen on our timeline, I hate this sounds so cliche, and I'm working on this myself. It's like, okay, things are coming. My $1 million month is coming. And I've had to eliminate the timeline, the time frame I would put on it. So for example, the beginning of the year, everybody sets their goal, right? It's like, hey, I want to hit this amount of money for this year. I had to quit doing that. And the reason why is because I would set these goals, and then if I didn't hit them, I would consider the year as a failure. It's like, hey, I want to hit $1 million a year, and I only reached 820,000. It's like, wait, I failed. I failed at my goal. Wait a second. No, I didn't. I just did $820,000 a year, whatever the numbers are. So for me, that's what I've learned I had to do and shift and do things differently. So you will never hear me say a goal for my revenue. I'm out there to see what's possible, and I'm open to receiving anything that comes my way. And I'm going to celebrate every step of the way. And if that's you, stop making those goals at the end of the year. Just enjoy everything that's coming. Get rid of the timelines. $1 million months are coming. $1 million years are coming. 6-figure months are coming. Whatever it is, the impact is coming. The programs are working. Put it as if it's already working, and it will. The timeline, we got to get rid of. Money has no time. There's no time frame on money. That's us. Man created time. And trust that it's always coming. More is coming. It's there. You have it. It's on its way. Just remember that. It's on its way.